Hello and welcome to the That's Football. It's our England versus Croatia watch-along. I've been down the pub. This is probably going to be one of the best streams we've done in a long time because nobody cares. It's the international break and nobody cares. But actually, for once, international break, Friday night and Monday night, England are playing competitive games. I don't know how it works. We don't do qualifiers anymore. So instead of having one decent qualifier and 10 load of shit qualifiers, we're doing this Nations Cup now that I haven't got a clue. It sort of takes the... Don't you automatically qualify for the Euros now if you're England or if you're any good? I don't know. Don't know how it works. Got no idea how it works, but this is a competitive game. And Modric is playing, and Perisic is playing, and Rebic is playing, and Vida's playing. So, and it's in Croatia. So it will be an interesting game. It will definitely be an interesting stream because I've had a few beers. So there we go. So England's lineup is Pickford, Walker, Stones, Maguire, Chilwell, Henderson, Dyer, Barkley, Sterling, Kane, Rashford. Quite a strong team. You can't really fault Southgate for going with a team like that in a competitive game. I mean, more interestingly, you got Trippier on the bench, which I don't really know why Trippier's being dropped for Kyle Walker, to be honest. Don't know why that's happening. Alexander-Arnold, also a good right back as well. You've got too many there, Gareth. You've got to get a backbone and just drop a right back. You don't select three right backs, you prick. Dunk, never heard of him. Gomez, good. Winks, good. Chalobah, good. Mount, good. Maddison, good. Bettinelli, never heard of him. And Sancho. Who the bloody hell is Bettinelli? I mean, realistically, I know a lot about football, but I haven't got a clue who Bettinelli is. Marcus Bettinelli is an English professional footballer who plays as a goalkeeper for Premier League club Fulham. There we go. Makes a lot of sense. Well, I've never heard of him if he's a backup player for Fulham. But I don't know why Gareth Southgate is picking right backs really. Lewis Dunk plays for Brighton as a centre back. I should remember him really, being as they beat us, but blah. Jadon Sancho should be playing. I agree with Disease Gaming. Yeah. Louise says England will lose again. What if we lose all our games? Does that matter? Who cares? I don't know. I'm just glad it's a competitive game. From a Manchester United point of view, I'm interested in watching Rashford. It's interesting how Ross Barkley's starting games for England now. I'm trying to think of the midfield three, and obviously Jesse Lingard is injured. I'd say Barkley's better than Jesse Lingard because he is. Even though I'm a United fan, I don't rate Jesse Lingard much either. Southgate is actually a rubbish manager. It's just he tells his players what to do. Mark Glitchy Shirt, says George Kyle. Yes, of course. It's because it's a little bit green. That's going to irritate people. George, you know what I've done? I've done the old sort of late 30s sort of thing where I've been down the pub and I've had a few beers and I've just gone for the whole jeans and casual jumper in the autumn thing. And it probably is a little bit glitchy. I can strip off down to my top if you want. Yeah, my shirt is done. There we go. Bit of the abs there. Oh, look, it's a Tatum Lyland Scott. That's actually, that blue contrasts quite nicely with it, doesn't it? It was a flick of the hair as well. I was looking very local farmerish with that jumper and my hair messed up, but it's just an excuse to take my shirt off, says Red Baron. Yes, it is. Remember, subscribe if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. I don't know why my... oh, there we go. That's why. Let's get to 100,000 subscribers tonight. I want to double the subscriber count. Obnoxious shit that I am. No, we won't do that. But do subscribe if you're new. Mr. Acolyte says, "Hey Mark, hope you're all okay." I've got a funny... I'm very, very well. I haven't... You know what? I've not... As people who've been watching the United Stand will know, I've not been feeling well this week. My stomach's been killing. I wouldn't have touched a drop of alcohol. But today I felt better, so I went and met a couple of mates from the pub. And Mr. Carling and Johnny Walker, and just had a few drinks. No, I did meet real people. But I have got an England shirt, Firefire 999, but I only wear them for major tournaments. If you watch the World Cup, in which... you know what? We did every single World Cup game as a watch along on this channel. That's amazing, isn't it? It feels like a different lifetime away. I love international football when it's the summer. I can't stand it when it's in the season. I think it's an irrelevant hindrance. It's like a boil on the arse, really. But at least this is a competitive game. But it doesn't come anywhere near real football, does it? It doesn't really come anywhere near. Even when it's competitive, it doesn't. It's not. International football matters in the summer when there's nothing else. There's no Premier League. International football is good when you have total separation. That's what you need. Total separation. None of this 2 weeks little window crap that you get in the autumn. You need total separation. Premier League stops. Champions League stops. And then you have a couple of weeks. Then you train. Then you have your World Cup or your Euros. That has 4 weeks. Then you start your Premier League again. That's when international football works. And I'm amazed that the boffins at the top of the game who just want to bleed more money out of us for international football, they need to realise that. For it to work, it needs to be total separation. You've got a really competitive game tonight. Southgate's not going to be trending tomorrow morning on Twitter or anywhere because no one gives a shit. But in the summer, when you've got total separation from your club team, that's when he'll trend. That's how it works. There we go. Louise says, come on, Croatia. Yep, the stadium is so empty, says Paul Young. Living in the land of the common people. La 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 la. Wherever I lay my head. Rubbish. Wherever I lay my head. That's my home. Bit of Paul Young there. Every time I see his name, it makes me think of it. It is an empty stadium, which is weird. That's international football for you. Up yours. It's rubbish. Reese Krellin says it's the only place emptier than the Etihad. Why is it empty officially? Can someone tell me? I thought Croatians were really patriotic. They certainly turned up to the World Cup. Why are they not turning up for this game? Seriously, why? Oh, look at the England Barmy Army. A bloke in a bloody blazer, jumper and jeans. Oh, Barmy Army, you're so barmy, Miles, in your blazer jacket and your jumper and shirt and your jeans combo. Oh, England, come on, boys. Oh, Barmy Army. Bloody hell. I thought England fans were meant to be like hardcore. Why is it so empty? It's a bloody disgrace. Why? Why is it? At the pub, I had Coors Pankaj. We've only got Carling in the house. But I've already said that before. Actually. Carling, I don't really mind it. It's a cheap little beer. Maybe that's why he played Walker, because he's used to it, says Aaron R. Good. I like that. That's good. I'm not drunk, Michael Hubbard. I've just had another game on Ultimate Team and I won again. If anyone's been watching my Ultimate Team, I can't remember the last time I lost a game. This is ridiculous for me. I've won about 7 games on the trot. I'll be in Division 5 soon. I've just won another game. I've won another game after about 4 beers. They must have been really crap. Croatia fans are banned, says St. Columbo. All right. Nabs MU. Mark, thoughts on the True Geordies comment? I thought it was brilliant. I mean, I just, I don't want to rock DJ, but you're making me feel all right. Robbie Williams is a legend, isn't he? I couldn't stand Robbie Williams when I was in my Oasis years when he was a hanger-on, but to be fair, he's pretty big, isn't he? He's got less followers than Gary Barlow and Neville, but he likes football, doesn't he? It's a shame he doesn't do Soccer Aid, because I could play for him. If he finds me funny, I could play Soccer Aid with him. I'll be a FIFA professional soon, yeah. I'm on the road to it. Best team you've seen in your life, Wazza said Barca 09. Yeah, that's because he was played off the pitch by them. Like Rooney's commenting about United and he clearly doesn't watch us. I ain't going to listen to Rooney. Good footballer, but I don't think there's lot up. I think he's a bit of a bungalow. There's nothing upstairs. I've seen loads of better teams than that 09 team. 99 United was... I don't think, personally, there's a better midfield in the world ever than Beckham, Scholes, Keane and Giggs. It's just... all right, there might have been a better midfield in a particular game, but on paper, it's perfect balance. Keane's the one who can run the midfield. Scholes has got the flair and can put a tackle in. Beckham's got that ability off his right peg, and Giggs is just the one who runs with the ball. We've kicked off here, and I've gobbing off. Typically, I've caught myself out because I haven't got the timer ready. You bloody idiot! And now I can't find the timer thing. Right, there it is. Don't bloody mess about with me again. Don't you mess about with me again. Right. For anybody else tuning in expecting me to be in a normal mood, I'm sorry. That's all I can say. I have been down the pub. And Friday nights used to be quite a good night on the United Stand 8 o'clock show because I'd have a few beers and come back and be obnoxious. But I've been stopped from doing that. So, come see, come saw. Beckham is highly overrated, says Jay Talks Football. Jay, how old are you, mate? Before we even get into that debate, how old are you? That's all I want to know. I'm going to keep an eye out. Because I want to know how old you are, Jay. And if you don't reply instantly, you're clearly getting on your calculator trying to figure out what would be a relevant age that your comment would have any credibility. I'm still going to sit you down anyway, but I'd just like to know how old you are. Stadium is empty because it's a 2-match ban for Croatia fans. That's fair enough, Clive Grant Stewart. Xavi and Iniesta would have just passed it around Keane like Ronaldo. Luke, shut up. You've got no idea. Roy Keane would not have let... You've got no idea of who Roy Keane is, have you, Luke? You don't. You live in your little banter FIFA world of Xavi and Iniesta and their little ticky-tacky pirouette shit. Roy Keane would have broke their fucking legs. Legit. He would have absolutely terrified them. They wouldn't have tried their little... drag it around the floor and take you on. They would have been shit scared of Roy Keane. No way. Roy Keane didn't play in the Iniesta Xavi years. England were nearly in there with Harry Kane. Jay Talks Football is 21. Oh my life. You've L on your forehead. He just says Beckham's overrated and he's 21. So you, let me just figure this out. 21, it's 2018 now. You were born in 1997, right? So you were 2 years old when Beckham was in his prime. Well, no, you were aged between 2 and 7 when Beckham was in his prime, and you're calling him an overrated. Oh, the ultimate sit down live on That's Football there. Beckham's overrated, but I was aged between 2 and 7 when he was at his best. End of conversation now. I thought we were going to have a serious debate about how good Beckham was, but that's finished. David Beckham was an absolutely superb footballer. I would agree that his footballing talent probably wasn't as Giggs or Scholes, but his work ethic and his set piece delivery was absolutely fantastic. And David Beckham, his best game was probably England against Greece in 2001. When he got us to the World Cup. Because all your Gerrards and your Lampards and your Scholes were shit at Old Trafford. David Beckham was just like we were a one-man team. He dragged us to that World Cup. He was absolutely amazing in that game. And he did it time and time again for United. Just look at David Beckham's goals for United. And overrated players don't score those sort of goals. No, I can't show the match, Karan. You need to get with the reality of That's Football doesn't have rights to show England matches, unfortunately. We bid for it, but unfortunately £5 wasn't comparable to Sky's 50 billion to get the copyright. So, no, that didn't happen. Osam says that Croatia will win 3-0. I am Jones. He says, I'm a Chelsea fan, but Beckham was one of my favourites. He was more of a celebrity than a footballer, says Aneg. You're on the verge of being blocked, an egg, because don't come at me about Beckham. Because actually, when David Beckham made his debut, I was around 15 years of age. And so I saw Beckham's career from 15 to about my early 30s. Prime years for watching football. So I'll sit anybody down about Beckham. Beckham was more consistent than Giggs. I used to watch a lot of United games at Old Trafford when Giggs was playing for United in his prime, and he used to get shouted at and booed quite a lot. And nobody will ever believe that if they weren't at Old Trafford in them years. But he did. He was an infuriating player, Giggs. He was absolutely fantastic, but he wasn't consistent. Beckham was Mr. Consistent, and he was very, very good. Anyway, we're watching England, which is quite nice to talk about Beckham because he's probably one of England's better players. What channel is it on? Says Oliver Lawton. It's on Sky, mate. Beckham or Henry? Well, come on, golden balls, Blake boy. I mean, it's obviously Thierry Henry. I mean, Thierry Henry was a very... you're talking about different things there. I mean, David Beckham was a very, very good player, but he's not in a United all-time 11. No way. No, he's not, because you've got people like Ronaldo and George Best and Paul Scholes and Bobby Charlton and Duncan Edwards and, Rooney's and people like that. So Beckham wasn't in an all-time 11, but he was a fantastic player. What do I think the score is going to be? I can see it being 9-9 or something like that, to be honest. Mohawk says Beckham was very good, but not the level of Ronaldo or Messi. Well, yeah. George Kyle says that Beckham was better than Henry for me. I think David Beckham actually suffers because of the celebrity thing. I think I almost wish for his career he hadn't been a celebrity, because he would then be held up as a fantastic player. Marrying Posh Spice and being a celebrity is probably, makes a lot of people think he wasn't that good. I remember Beckham and Sir Alex towards the end of Beckham's career at United, and he used to drop him a lot for people like Luke Chadwick. I used to go bloody mad. I loved David Beckham. Absolutely loved him. A lot of people support United because of Beckham. William, I didn't watch Bobby Charlton play. No, as well. No, I didn't. Daniel Hall says I should try out Pro Evo. Yeah, one of my mates messaged me today and said that they've got an equivalent of the pack opening thing, and he got Maradona and Beckham. So either he's very lucky or you get some decent players on Pro Evo. Cameras lost the ball. Banter. Amateur. Sol Lund says, don't you wish Alexis Sanchez was English? Why? He's shit. He's absolutely crap. As a United fan, he's crap. Alexis Sanchez is crap. I don't think he's going to turn it round either. I know a lot of United fans are like, when he comes good. He's been here 8 months. If you speak to Arsenal fans, he was on the decline in his last 6 months at Arsenal. He's crap. Absolute shit. He's Nathan Redmond. He's that sort of standard at the moment. I don't wish he was English at all. A finished bloody banter. England have suffered over the years because of people like Alexis Sanchez. People who were once good, who cling on to being, relevant for years and years and take somebody's spot. Gerrard and Lampard did it for bloody years. I wouldn't want Alexis Sanchez to be English. No, he's finished. I think he's finished. I think he's finished at the top level. Yeah, I agree with Josh JXSH, which is basically Josh. He says Martial is better than Sanchez. Of course he is. Mourinho will stick with Sanchez because his reputation depends on it, but I just think he's a poor player. Let's get the chat going, because this international football is it ain't the best, is it? Let's be honest. Matthew Hyatt wishes Fellaini was English. You know what I wish Fellaini was? I wish he was an ornament that you could just put away in the cupboard and close it. Or Tom Hammer for life. I can't even read that out. It's such a bad joke. Tell you who I wish was English. Should have thought that through before saying it. I think England's midfield is just atrocious. I thought in the World Cup we did ridiculously well to get a World Cup semi-final, because actually we weren't that good. The whole World Cup, I enjoyed it. I really got into it, but I was like, how are we in a World Cup semi-final? Our midfield is banter. Henderson, Ali and Lingard. I mean, I know Lingard. I watch him every week. He is not a midfielder. And I know he scored a good goal in the tournament, but he's shit. England need the midfield. So I would love Modric to be English. I would love Toni Kroos to be English. I would love Kante to be English. That's what I would like. 3 really top quality midfielders, because then I think England would be one of the best teams in the world. Because attacking talent, all right, they're not Neymar and Ronaldo, but your Rashfords, your Sterlings, your Harry Kanes, they've got options. But the midfield is atrocious, absolutely atrocious. And even the defence is good. Harry Maguire's not bad in the context of centre-backs in world football. John Stones is quite good as well. Full-backs, you got Luke Shaw, you got... Danny Rose is crap. I think Chilwell's quite good. I like Chilwell for Leicester. For right backs, we're blessed with right backs. Trippier, Kyle Walker, Trent, Alexander-Arnold, Smith, but the midfield is atrocious for England. That's why they didn't win the World Cup. If they'd have played France, they would have been absolutely annihilated. Pogba to be English is AJ 10. I think in an English midfield, he'd be like he's in a United midfield. Too much pressure on him with 2 banter players with him. Danny Rose is much better than Shaw, says David Raworth. Danny Rose is crap, mate. I wouldn't pay a bag of crisps for Danny Rose. I think he's crap. The best thing about Danny Rose is... The most interesting thing about Danny Rose is the holes in his socks that he cuts, which is something to do with a medical condition. But he's crap. I mean, what did he do? I saw him in the... Was it in the World Cup? Nearly scored there, England. Good cross coming in from Chilwell, you see. I told you Chilwell was good. Danny Rose, the left back, shows a left-footed right winger onto their left foot. It's crap. Even I know that. I just think Danny Rose is crap. Sorry. I think it's inexcusable. I remember Leighton Baines doing it for England against Ian Robin, who was playing on the right wing with a left foot, and he showed him onto his left foot and he scored in a friendly at Wembley. And Danny Rose did it as well. And I think if you are a professional footballer, especially if you're a fullback, and your whole job is basically to be marking that winger, if you've not done your homework at the highest level to figure out that you are playing against a right-footed player or a left-footed player, and you show them onto that foot, it's unforgivable. It displays thickness. That's what it does. And there are some thick footballers out there. I've played football at quite a decent level when I was a lad, which was a few years ago. And I've played with some really, really technically gifted footballers, but they're thick as pig shit. And I think, footballers who are fullbacks, who show a winger onto their strongest foot, they're lacking something upstairs. And if you're lacking something upstairs, as a defender, you're going to struggle. Flight World Vids, thoughts on Welbeck? I think Danny Welbeck's done absolutely fantastic to get picked by England as much as he does. Because I like Welbeck, I liked him at United. He's a hard worker, but he ain't a footballer. He's not a very good footballer. Michael says that international breaks are boring. They are to a certain extent, Michael. I think this one's going quick, though. I think the first international break in September is a ball ache because it's all new, the season's new, and you're like, what's going on? The second one, you're sort of like, I don't really want it to be here, but it's nice to have a little bit of a relax, especially if your team's doing shit. And the third one in November is a pain in the arse. You don't want that one. I don't know why we have to have that one. But I quite like where the England games are on this international break, because you wait till Friday for the first one. You get another one on Monday, which starts the week. You get a match to watch. And then really, it's a bit like a midweek game, isn't it? You're building up. So... On my Ultimate Team, my plan on Ultimate Team is to start doing these FUT drafts and the SBCs. I haven't got a clue what they are, but I didn't know what FIFA Ultimate Team was the other day. And now I'm beating all comers. But my absolute aim with Ultimate Team is to get Roy Keane in my team. And that's 500,000 points. So I will be doing it for a while. But that's my road to glory with that. That's what I want to do. That's my aim. Not a lot to report in this game at the moment. It's to and fro. Sterling on the attack here. Knocks it to... It's just very, very sloppy. Very sloppy. England have got the United States coming up, says Nathan Brown. Are we playing America on Monday night? Oh, boo to that. Boo to that. No, we're playing England. We're playing Spain on Monday night in Spain. And then we're playing Thursday the 15th of November. We're playing England versus America at 8 o'clock. And then on the Sunday, we're playing Croatia. Oh, I don't want to rock, DJ. What is Maguire doing there? Banter defending. How many Aaron R says, didn't we play Spain the other week? Yeah, we're in a group with Croatia and Spain, so we have to play them home and away. So we're playing Spain on Monday night in Spain. I mean, Southgate's got 2 difficult games. That's why I think it's quite interesting. He's got this one, and then he's got Spain on Monday. So it's quite interesting as to how it's going to go, because he could get exposed badly. Bam, 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 England versus Croatia on a Friday night. It's all happening, folks. This is a cracking game. We're 16 minutes in. I've got Robbie Williams on the brain now. Yeah, I have. And Amanda. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. And if England can't score, at least we can get a few subscribers on the United Stand. Mark, you said you will be in Ireland this summer, says Blizzard Crushing. You know, I say a lot of things. I'm meant to be in New York in December. It's not going to happen. I find that, you know, a year actually goes a lot quicker than you think. I was like, last Christmas, when Christmas was out of the way, I was like, 2018, I'm going to Ireland in May, I'm going to New York in December, it's going to happen. And then, good break by, terrible first touch by Rebic and his big arse. I'm glad United didn't sign Rebic, he's crap. World Cup wonder. But yeah, I do want to do it, but there's so much I wanted to do this year that I haven't done. But then on the other hand, there's a lot of things I've done this year that I didn't expect to do that's good as well. Life is what's, as John Lennon said, life's what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. Quite profound, that, wasn't it? Kalaja 2, says Christopher Danielson. 21. Do you run, says Google Bot? I'm playing a match next Sunday, and I've been really ill this week. My whole fitness plan is gone. I don't think I'll be able to play much next Sunday. We're playing Arsenal Fan TV next week. I say Arsenal Fan TV in the loosest term possible. You're not going to see DT or Claude or Robbie or Troops. I think DT might play a little bit, but on our team we've got Sophie, Flex, Rance, me. So that's next Sunday, but my fitness levels aren't good. I won't be able to play 90 minutes, but I will play. Everton versus United score prediction, Tyler. Well, it's we've got to play Chelsea first, but look, I think if Everton had played us when we were playing Newcastle, Everton would have won that game. But you're gonna play a different United side, aren't you? So it's hard to judge. I think I'd have to wait until we've played Chelsea, to be honest with you. Stuart Collins, Mr. DT is going to do circles around you. He said so on Twitter. Mate, he's younger than me. and I think he's been down the gym for the last 2 months. I haven't, so I'll do what I do. I tell you what though, DT won't be running rings around anybody, and I won't be running rings around anybody, because we are neither of us anywhere near our prime. And I know for a fact that Arsenal Fan TV had trials from people coming all around Europe to play for them, and a lot of them are, you know, in their 20s and stuff. So no one's running rings around anybody. That's what I'm going to say. Louise O'Donoghue says this is boring. The stream's not boring though. We're all having a good laugh. I'll tell you what, I tweeted this out earlier as well. A little bit of a moral dilemma for you lot. I was playing, it wasn't on my stream. If anyone's not watched my FIFA Ultimate Team stream, you should watch it, because I don't lose a game. And the last 2 games are really good. But I played one at about 4 o'clock today, because I had a spare 20 minutes. And I was 2-1 up. And it was literally right into stoppage time. Most games I play, they only had 2 minutes on. And it was like the 91st minute. And he did this 2 passes, which were, in any other part of the game, would never have worked. Anyway, he ended up running pretty much from the halfway line, 1-on-1, and I'm chasing him with Harry Maguire. My keeper's like, do I bring my keeper out or not? He's coming towards the penalty box. Maguire's closing in on him, and I've got a choice to make. Do I press square, professional foul, take the red card, and he's got a free kick in a decent position? Or do I gamble, not do it, and be fair, and let him take the chance against my goalkeeper in a 1-on-1? Of course, I hit the square button, got the red card, and his free kick was shit, and I won the game. Morally, I'm quite happy with that. Karen says, what is your favourite ever TV show? I think I'd have to, one thing I always will do is go for nostalgia. So I probably would say that my favourite ever TV show is Only Fools and Horses, because when I was in my teens, DVDs hadn't quite been invented. And I remember going into Nottingham and going to the video shop. I'm trying to think of a video shop that would be closed now. Probably Virgin Megastore. And they had VHS videos of Only Fools and Horses. And I just bought the whole box set. And I was like over the moon. So, and I still watch it on UK Gold now. But there's some great TV around now. You know, there's some fantastic series now. But yeah, Only Fools and Horses, I think. Red Baron says, just want to say, mate, it's fantastic getting your insight on games such as FIFA. Very different than the modern day streamer. Thanks for the contribution, Red Baron. Yeah, I don't really understand that. I mean, I've had a few people contacting me saying, I really enjoy your FIFA streams. I've had about 3 people today saying, I found your channel because I watch FIFA streams on YouTube. I'd never heard of you before, and I really enjoy your content. I don't really understand that, because there's some really good people out there who play FIFA, but I know they edit it down, don't they? They do like 10, 20-minute videos a day, and they'll have like 4 fixtures through that. And they're the kings of editing. I prefer interaction and live comments, to be honest, so that's how I do it. But I've had a lot of people messaging me about FIFA over the last 2 days, because yesterday's stream I was at my wit's end saying, I can't play this game anymore, it's doing my head in. And then I really took on a lot of what a lot of people said, started mixing things up, tried a few things, had a look at a few tutorials, and it's really helped. And that's in 1 day, and I'm sure I'll keep improving. And so, yeah. East or West Midlands, says Lewis too. Well, I've lived in both. Got to be careful, because I live in one and I grew up in the other. Kovacic, what a player he is on FIFA 19. Very good. It's difficult. I'm on the fence with that, East or West Midlands, because I grew up in the East Midlands. I live in the West Midlands. So it's difficult. If you push me, I'll say West. David Ward says, do you watch The Walking Dead? Yes, I do. I'm sceptical about The Walking Dead, David. It's a conversation between me and you. I'm sceptical about The Walking Dead because I think when Rick leaves forever in about 6 episodes' time, I'm not sure it's going to be able to recover from that. I'm really not. Phil Mitchell says, unpopular opinion, Matt HD Gamer is the most boring, successful YouTuber out there. Well, you know what, Phil? He's successful, isn't he? I've had a few people sending me videos of YouTubers, whether it's for, and I've watched them because some people will say you need to call your ultimate team the road to glory. Some people say watch this because it's really good for tips and that. And I must admit, I've watched some of them and I see they've got like over 1 million subscribers and I'm like, how? I'm not going to name any names, and certainly not that person isn't the person, but I've watched some FIFA YouTubers and I'm like, they've got over 1 million subscribers. They maybe just hit the sweet spot when it was really popular. I don't know. I love Game of Thrones, Lewis. Can't wait for it. I love Game of Thrones. I love Stranger Things. I love Breaking Bad. I love Ozark. I liked Narcos. Boardwalk Empire was good as well. Walking Dead's good. I'm going to watch Better Call Saul because a lot of people are saying that's quite good as well. But I like the box sets. But at the moment, I'm watching Peep Show, which is a UK sitcom which went for 9 seasons, and I never thought it was my thing, and I just happened to watch it as a recommended, and really have got into it. But there's so many to watch. Thoughts on Tommy Robinson, Mark? Kieran Byrne. You know what? It would be wrong of me to even have a thought on it. It would be wrong of me to have a thought on that because I don't really have any. I'm aware of who he is, but I don't dig into it deep enough to really have an opinion on it. My opinion is that whatever your stance is, whatever your background is, whatever your religion or anything like that is, I don't really think it matters. I mean, I think it's your attitude. Every box has got a bad corner, and that's the thing, isn't it? Everybody has, and I just think I'm not interested in this sort of passionate. I think that what's his name, the Labour journalist. What's his name? Some people say he looks like me. Owen somebody. Obviously, he's very passionate about what he does, but he's quite manipulative and bitter about it, and I think that's portrays somebody who is vindictive, and I don't like that. Do you follow a team in Scotland? No, Cameron Stone. I used to be interested in the Rangers Celtic dynamic, but it's so irrelevant now that no. Zed Jamie's just been battered 4-0 on Ultimate Team. What division are you in, Jamie? I've not watched Fargo, Karan. If Ronaldo scores at Old Trafford and celebrates, how will you react, says Juventino Biancanaro? I love Ronaldo. The fat Ronaldo scored a hat-trick at Old Trafford and was clapped. Ronaldo, guarantee, Cristiano Ronaldo, if he scored the best goal he's ever scored at Old Trafford, he won't rip his shirt off and do something anyway. The best he'll do is just put his hand up. He's respectful. So I haven't got a problem with Ronaldo scores. Harley, United Stand podcast is actually starting on Patreon next week. Me and Drawty. So there you go. He just said, Harley, you should do a United Stand podcast. It's going to start on Patreon next week. We've already discussed that. We've been discussing it for a few weeks, and it'll be a very, very different show. Most of it will be football, but we will be wandering off into other areas as well, and we'll be taking questions. The game looks dead, says Karam, without the fans. Well, the amazing thing is we've got more fans on That's Football than there is in that ground. There's 1,300 of us watching and having a chat, and God knows how many there is. Who was my football idol growing up, says Cameron Stone? You know what? Roy Keane wasn't my idol growing up. I loved Roy Keane in the way that I used to play football. I loved his engine. You know, when you're playing... Well, I don't know. I think society's so sad these days. I've obviously got kids. and they are on their phones all the time. I've got a nephew who's 12 and he plays football, but he's carrying it's all about PS4 and his phone, which is great. But when I was 12, 11, 10, every waking hour, I was on the park playing football. And when I don't know whether many of you've done this, but when I was a kid, because I played so much football, both for teams and on the park, you literally would play jumpers for goalpost. Or you'd play on a pitch where there was a goal, but there was no net in it. So what the goalie would do, because they were lazy fat bastards most of the time, you play World Cup in one goal. So there's a goalkeeper in one goal, and there's probably 6 or 7 of you playing. Keeper has it, kicks it out. There's 7 of you playing. You're not on the same team. Whoever scores, they go and sit behind the goal. They're through to the next round. So then there's 6 left. Whoever scores, 5 left. Whoever scores, 4. I really hope that kids still do this. I don't know whether they do. This is what we used to play as kids. And if there was loads of you, you'd do World Cup doubles. So there was a pair of you. You might have 14 of you, and you'd have 7 teams. Anyway, goalie's in goal, kicks the ball out. If you score, you wait behind the goal. 6, 5, 4, 3 until there's 2 players left. Keeper kicks it out. It's 1 against 1. You score, the last one left is out. They sit behind the goal, everyone else comes out for the next round. It was a brilliant game. We used to play at lunchtime at school. But because the goalies were lazy, if the ball was like somebody shoots and it goes wide but behind the goal, it'd go play on. And everyone else would be like, I'm having a breather. I'd always run and get the ball for 2 reasons. 1, I've got the ball and I was quite skillful. But 2, Roy Keane, his engine, it was that engine to play football, that passion to play football and never stop running. So I did like Roy Keane for the way he played football, but my idol growing up was probably Beckham. Beckham was the first idol I probably had. I used to have my hair like Beckham, and to be fair, this isn't far off Beckham. If I drop it down and had the highlights in it, it's not far off what Beckham had. But Beckham was probably my first idol that I idolised, but Roy Keane was the first footballer I really liked. I really, really hope that kids still do play World Cup. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Stuart Collins says, we called your game qualifiers in my game. It's still very popular, says Ben Parsons. It's the best game to play on your lunchtime at school. It's absolutely brilliant. Headers and volleys was good as well. Castro says, we even had lines of demarcation where you could not score if you stepped over them. There was one kid, I'm trying to think what his name is. He won't be watching. What was his name? We used to call him Doogie Howser because he had a massive forehead, bigger than DT and mine. That wasn't his name. I think it was Eddie Stewart, maybe something like that. So we'd play World Cup. Keeper would kick the ball out. I'd go and get it. My mates would go and get it. And you basically, because you're against 7 individuals, you get the ball. Even if you got past 3, there was another 3 to get past. So you'd try and shoot from distance. Keeper would save it. And there'd be bloody Doogie Howser. He used to hang around the 6-yard box waiting for the keeper to save it. Goal hanger. And he'd end up getting every time. He'd get through to like the semi-finals where there's only 3 or 4 of you left. But that's when he'd get exposed, because as soon as he couldn't be a goal hanger, he'd get beat. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad that so many people played it, and if you haven't played it, then you should. Farn says, where's Sander? Look, you're going to get banned for asking that. Xander did some great stuff on That's Football, but That's Football's changed now. We don't have anywhere near as much content as we used to. I'm doing FIFA stuff on here, the odd watch along. So Xander's not on the channel. There's nothing to do with anything other than he's doing his own thing. That's it. So he might be on again soon, but it's not really a question that needs to keep being asked. Leslie Lai says, this chat is more interesting than the dumb match. Yeah, it's crap, isn't it? As I said at the start of the stream, international football is great when it's separated from normal football. It shouldn't be international break, a few weeks of Premier League, international break, a few weeks of Premier League. It should be kept isolated to the summer, and that's when it gets the most interest. Ryan LCFC says, honest thoughts on Leicester. You know what my honest thoughts on Leicester are, Ryan? And because I've been playing Ultimate Team as well, Harry Maguire's a good player. That Pereira, who's your right back, is absolutely overrated, isn't he? He can't be like that in real life because he's my right back. I've sold Trippier to get him in. I think Chilwell's good as well. Kasper Schmeichel's good. So basically, your back four is very, very good, and your keeper's good. I think your midfield's not bad, and Vardy's not bad. So I think you probably miss Mahrez quite a lot, to be honest. Man City probably wish he was still there, that penalty miss. But yeah, I don't think Leicester are particularly bad. I think you'll be a mid-table team, which probably is about your ceiling, isn't it? I mean, bloody hell. You know, you won a league, you won a Premier League. Leicester should retire off that. What they did to win that Premier League in the era of Man City's millions, Manchester United's domination. You know, you're the only Premier League club beginning with L to win the Premier League, and Liverpool begin with L. So you know, Leicester, I wouldn't be too as long as you're staying in the Premier League. Look, I've been on this planet for a long time. And if you told me Leicester was going to win Division 1 or the Premier League, I'd have said you're having a laugh. So Leicester, you've done something that Wolves... here's a goal. Good save by Pickford. He should have scored there. Was it Rebic by any chance? No. It was Kramaric. Leicester have done something that a lot of clubs around their level will never ever do. So that's what I would say about Leicester. Southgate's got no tactics at all. Park the bus, pump the ball high, hope for the best, as Leslie Lie. I do think the Southgate thing was brilliant in the World Cup. I absolutely loved it. But the fact that some people have said, would you take Southgate as Manchester United manager, and I've nearly fell off my chair laughing. No. He's not that good. Ndidi is quality, Matt. Jahar, you are right. Craig Flaherty wants an honest opinion on Everton. Well, you know what? I was playing as Everton on FIFA today, and I looked at their squad, and it's very, very good. You've got loads of good midfielders. Defensively, they're quite good. Everton's big problem is you haven't got a striker of any note. You could stick Lukaku back in your team, you'd be a very good team. Goals win prizes, and you haven't got a striker that's going to score you enough goals. That's the problem with that. Fawn, it's no problem asking. It's fine. It's just been mentioned quite a lot. Spurs, that's Jamie Buckley. I think Spurs are probably hitting their ceiling. I don't think they'll ever win the league, to be honest. But then again, Leicester did. Would I take Trippier at United as Dimitri? Yes. Valencia is a banter right back. B. Yakov says, I think Wolves will finish higher than United. I predicted that Wolves on this channel 8 months ago would finish in the top 8. So I would expect United to finish above them, but if United keep Mourinho, then Wolves could finish above them. What was your favourite Manchester derby? Mo 16. I'd say it probably was the Michael Owen winner. And, you know, I don't see Michael Owen as a United player. I see him as a Liverpool player. But that game, because it was 4-3 and it had so many goals and it had so many twists and turns, it was... I remember that goal vividly. The Van Persie one at the Etihad was good. To be fair, the one in April where we were 2-0 down and we came back and won 3-2, that would have been probably one of the best ever if we weren't 50 points behind them anyway. It was great to stop them winning the title against us, but it just felt very small mentality. It was a bit like it used to be 10-15 years ago before City were invented, and we'd play games against City and they were crap and we were good. And every now and again they'd beat us and it'd be like, we're the kings of Manchester. When the reality is we're just going to win another title and you're fighting relegation. That's what April felt like. It was like, yeah, we beat them, but they're miles ahead of us. Whereas those other ones I've mentioned, they actually meant something in the context of what we did. Best manager in the Premier League, somebody just asked there. That's a bloody good question. It's not Pep. It can't be Pep. Pep's very good. He's a candidate, but I wouldn't give it to Pep because of all the money he's had and all the players he inherited. So my candidates for best manager in the Premier League would probably be somebody like an Eddie Howe because of what he does with the limited resources. It would probably be a Pochettino because of what he does with decent players but limited resources. It wouldn't be a Pep for me. No. It would be an Eddie Howe, a Pochettino. I don't think you can... Mourinho, even before this season, I would have said no because the resources they've got is a massive advantage. It's like going to work every day and working on the stock exchange and you get £100 million whereas someone else gets 5. That's basically what Eddie Howe's got to do compared to Pep. So I think you've got to look at it in a situation like that. If Arsenal get top 4, Emery should be given Manager of the Year. I've said that before. I know they're doing well at the moment, but it's still very early days and he hasn't had loads of money to spend. He's taken over from a living legend of the club and I don't think the squad's that good. So if Arsenal got top 4, I think he gets Manager of the Year. Dallas. Eve, the answer to that question is not Pep or Klopp, because Pep spent loads of money and Klopp spent loads of money, and Klopp's not won anything. So the answer, if you want the best Premier League manager, you can't just be a Premier League gimp and just go, oh, I'm going to look at the headlines. Who's at the top? You've got to look at the factors behind it. Massive clubs, inheritance of good players, money spent. Bournemouth's capacity is about 5. And he's, I think Eddie Howe has to buy the players with his own money. And that yet there he is, promotion, stayed in the league, never been in a relegation battle. This season they're in the top half. That's proper management, that is. You give Pep Bournemouth and see what happens. I bet he wouldn't do what Eddie Howe's done. That's why you should always judge the best manager on what they're actually doing, not on what not on what they spend. Obed, I don't think any United fan thinks that Rashford's close to Mbappe, so it's an irrelevant comment. Ivan229 says, where can you watch this? If someone wants to let him know in the live comments, you're a braver man than me. I think this is the place to be watching the England versus Croatia game, because trust me, this is more entertaining than what's going on the pitch. We're nearly at half time. I thought England nearly scored from a corner there. Fred or Torreira, says Maddy Hassan. Well, I tweeted the other day that who'd have thought that Torreira would be the standout player compared to Dyer just hit the post from a header there. Who would have thought that Torreira would be the standout player between Fred, Torreira and Keita? And at the moment, Torreira is the standout player. Now, I had people replying to that tweet, well, anybody who's been watching Serie A would have known that. Well, as anybody knows who watches me on That's Football, I watch a lot of Serie A. So all those idiots can sit down for a start. Anyone who's watched Serie A would know that Torreira is going to be the better player out of Fred and Keita. How does that work then? Torreira plays in Serie A, Fred plays in bloody Rush in the Ukrainian league, and Keita played in Bundesliga. So why would watching Serie A be relevant? It wouldn't be relevant. Torreira is a decent signing for Arsenal. He's definitely the better out of the 3 at the moment. You could add Fabinho into that as well. I never would have thought, actually, with Fabinho as well. I think Fabinho is a very good player and he's not getting a look in either. So, but at the moment, Torreira is the best out of everyone. But I guarantee you that, especially in the relation to Keita and Fred, who are both in my FIFA Ultimate Team, by the way, I think they will come through as the better players. I think Fred is a victim of Mourinho and his idiocy about new signings. He did it with Mkhitaryan, he did it with Lindelof, and now he's doing it with Fred. He spends big money on players and doesn't play them. And I think with Keita and Fabinho, they are victims of a team that absolutely got a nosebleed last season. I mean, Liverpool got to the Champions League final. And I think Klopp has a lot of loyalty to Henderson, Wijnaldum, and who's their other midfielder? Milner. Because they did so well last season. And I think Keita and Fabinho are struggling to get into the team because of that loyalty. But I do think that Keita and Fred will be very good signings. But at the moment, you've got to say it's Torreira. I wouldn't have Eddie Howe as Manchester United manager, Ben. Not for me. Not for me. Remember, subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner. I do my FIFA Ultimate Team on here as well. And we do watch-alongs for the big games as well. We'll be doing England versus Spain on Monday. And it's half time. Not that we'd notice. Shower of shite. Jadon Sancho should be starting Obed, I know. I mean, J-Talks football, I've got to agree with you. Wijnaldum and Milner and Henderson as a midfield three, they work really well. They worked fantastically well against Man City, who were like big points ahead of anybody last year. All right, it's a great idea to sign Fabinho and Keita, but they'll have Oxlade-Chamberlain back soon as well. They've got like 6 players in for 3 positions. It's difficult, isn't it? I haven't seen the wonder goal for Salah for Egypt's Julian, but I do think he'll come good again. I think football in its very nature is flip-floppy, and I think that all these people are going on about Eden Hazard at the moment. They make me laugh. You make me laugh, you Eden Hazard lovers, because where was he last season? He was at Chelsea last season. Where were Chelsea? If Eden Hazard's the best player in the world, why didn't they finish in the top 4? Oh, because he was playing in a defensive system. Well, I seem to remember Chelsea coming to play United in March, and we were defensive in the first half, and Hazard and Willian had loads of space, and it was Willian who was the best player. Hazard was shite. I think Hazard had a crap season last year, and Salah and De Bruyne were amazing. So this season, we're only, 7-8 weeks into it, and Hazard's the best player in the world. It's a nonsense. It's a nonsense. Favourite pizza topping, says Lewis Toop. Ham and pineapple. Or meat feast. Rank these players. No, I'm not doing it, Obed. You've put too many there. ASB, I don't believe you. So I'm not even going to comment. I'm just going to say I don't believe you. So, show me facts. Otherwise, I won't reply. I've fallen into them traps so many times. Neymar is better than Hazard. Of course, Paul Young. Wherever I lay my head, that's my home. I bet loads of you don't even know who Paul Young is, do you? Oh, here we go. This is my comment of the night. Shiva Singh says, didn't think about Blanc that much in front of other marquee choices, but you did make a very good case. For one, I don't see a reason why not. Ticks all the right boxes for United. Yeah, I did a video on the United Stand today about the next Manchester United manager, and Laurent Blanc is my choice. And if you haven't watched that video, you haven't lived. And it will show you why it should be. Edwin Castro, Mark, my dad, Barry Reed, says he knows you. Thanks for the contribution, Edwin. I saw Barry. He wouldn't have a kid that could be on YouTube. So, you're lying. Yeah, the magician remembers it well. Let's play an honest trust game then. If you're on the live comments, tell me your honest age in the live comments so that demographically I can get a grasp of the sort of people who watch this show. So let us know. Jared Pesserman says ham and pineapple is absolutely gross. To think I sat and watched a full 90 minutes match with you, Jared, and you are a ham and pineapple hater. Oh, that if you told me that before, I would have gone and sat somewhere else. Rashford or Mbappe? Oh, come on. To be fair, Rashford and Martial have been destroyed by Mourinho the last 2 years. I still think they can be very, very good players, but they have been destroyed. Absolutely. I'm getting a few ages coming in now, which I'm sure you can see on the live comments as well. That's good. There's a good range. 18, 17, 24s, 27s, 23, 51, 16, 20, 13, 17, 22, 27, 17, 23, 14, 16, 33, 23, 40, 23, 18, 18, 33, 23, 19, 22, 18, 16, 19, 98. Yeah, it's about what I thought, to be fair. What are you doing with your weekend? Seriously, what are you doing with your weekend? There we go. What are you doing with your weekend? It's half time at the moment in this match. What are you doing with your weekend? Seriously. Because England are playing tonight and Monday night. There's no Premier League football. Non-league clubs will try and play on your... Oh, come and watch a non-league club. Up yours. I've never watched a non-league club. I'm not going to go and watch any non-league club now. I'd rather wash my car. And I don't want to do that either. But I'm not watching non-league football. I'm not supporting my local non-league team. I never have. I know that's really harsh, but it would be fake of me to do it. So I'm not doing it. I'm just one of those sort of people. I'm just honest. I'm not going to do it. I'm not bothered about non-league football. I'm not going to go and watch it. Forget it. I don't care how good your pies are. Your standard of football shit. It's going to be cold. It's going to rain. I could be watching Harry Potter. You know, at the end of the day, I could. I really could, and that's what I probably will do. But no, seriously, this weekend, I think it's going to be raining where I am. So I've got family coming down tomorrow, so that'll probably be beer. And Sunday Night Live at 8 o'clock, of course, on the United Stand. Yeah. You Gamer says, if you were manager of Manchester United, what would you change? I'd just change the mentality in the dressing room. I'd embrace everybody, not in a hugging way, but I'd have a chat with everybody regularly and make them happy, because that's what management's all about. I've been a manager, I'm sure a lot of you have, and you manage different people with different needs and everything. I'd also pick a totally different 11, and I'd have a totally different philosophy in the way I attack the opposition. I'd worry about what we do rather than what the opposition do. Thoughts on Bristol, somebody just said. My thoughts on Bristol are, I've been to Bristol quite a few times. Got family down in Bath, which is right next to Bristol. Bristol is massive. Bristol's like Sheffield, but although in my lifetime Sheffield Wednesday were in the Premier League for a long time. But Sheffield needs a Premier League team and Bristol needs a Premier League team, but Bristol never have had one. Bristol's massive. It's a massive city in England, if you don't know, and they've never had a Premier League club, and it's really weird. They need one. I don't know why they don't get the investment to get one, but they do need one. They do. Would I watch Forest? No. No, I don't know anything about them anymore. I knew a little bit about them in the late 80s because I used to get taken to them. Nigel Clough, Stuart Pearce, Des Walker, Roy Keane. I don't know anything about them now. I haven't known anything about them for years. I don't even know who manages them now. Is it that ex-Middlesbrough manager? I don't follow their results. I've got family members who do. But it'd be nice if they got into the Premier League because they used to be in the Premier League. But like I said, Sheffield Wednesday, I want them back in the Premier League. Leeds, I want them back in the Premier League. Villa, I want them back in the Premier League. I would, if somebody asked me now, I'd kick Huddersfield out. I'd kick Cardiff out. I'd kick Burnley out. I'd probably kick Bournemouth out, to be honest, even though Eddie Howe's done a great job. Get rid of these small capacity clubs, kick them out and get some big clubs back in. And of course, the great thing about democracy and freedom is that it's their fault they're not there. But I'd have Villa back. I'd have Sheffield Wednesday back. I would have Forest back. I would have a Bristol. Well, no, I don't know. I'm not going to put them back. But, you know, Villa are back. You've got a 35,000 capacity. Sheffield Wednesday, the same. Forest, the same. Big clubs with big history. Leeds, 40,000. They're who should be in the Premier League. I'm bored of the Huddersfield, the Burnley, the Cardiff thing. Oh, look at them. They've got promoted. This has been going on for 20 years. I think the first team to do it was Barnsley. Oh, look at little Barnsley. Barnsley are in the Premier League. It's great. What a one-off. What a little change that is. But it's not been a one-off. It's happened every bloody year. Get some of the big clubs back in. Get the proper grounds back into the Premier League. Hillsborough, Elland Road. You know, that's what I want to see. Who does the art for United stand, and that's football, says you gamer. Drawty. Mark, would you take Marco Silva as manager? He's one of the most underrated attacking managers, says Flight World Vids 18. Well, he's got to do it at Everton first, mate. Owen Evans says you can't just kick people out if they ain't a big team. I thought I sort of just said that, Owen. I did say that, didn't I? I did say that they're on merit and it's the big club's fault that they're not there. But what I'm saying is, if I was in charge, I think the Premier League would be a much better place if you had Leeds, Sheffield Wednesday, Villa back in, and you kicked out some of these small clubs. Brighton. Coventry, says William Newton. Wow. Coventry are a long way from being that. What's the Grinch doing back in cinemas? Oh, that's banter. Do not put the Grinch back in the cinemas. Jim Carrey, The Grinch, Christmas classic. Sit down. We don't need a remake of that. We don't need... I hate remakes of good films. I would love Blanc at United, yes. Hi Mark, says MUFC TV. Hello. Oh, God. I do not want Allegri at Manchester United, Abra. I watch a lot of Serie A, and Allegri's very good for Juventus, and he's very good at what he does, but he's not a Manchester United manager. No way. If that's the sort of Ed Woodward knobheadism that would happen. If you're a rival fan and we get Allegri, there's no upgrade. There's no upgrade. His football's not entertaining. It's very pragmatic. He would be a bloody nightmare. Absolute nightmare. You know what? As a Manchester United fan, if they sack Mourinho and they appoint Conte, Allegri, Simeone, someone like that, I'm going to be them out from the start. I'm not even going to give them a fucking chance. I'm just going to be, what the bloody hell is going on at my club? Why have we gone for another pragmatic defensive manager? What's happened to our identity? If Mourinho leaves Manchester United, it's got to be Zidane, Jardim, Blanc, Pochettino. One of those four. Or maybe somebody even more obscure, but more attacking. You cannot go for Allegri, Conte or Simeone. It's just the same as Moyes, Van Gaal and Mourinho. But I guarantee it probably will happen because we're run by banter experts. Anonymous Prankers is new. Hello, mate. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner. Get involved. Bisto. Do I think Manchester United will beat Chelsea, Reese? No. Blanc or Jordan? Blanc, Kurt, for me. Imagine if Mourinho wins the league, says Alan Barney. Yep, and then I wake up in a pile of... No, I'm not going to say that. Imagine me as Manchester United manager. God, the press conferences would be good. The football would be shit. Well, Sally Devil Red 7's right. From a United perspective, we could end up with a shit manager again because I think Ryan Giggs is right. If you sack Mourinho, who's to say we won't be in the same position in 2 years' time? If we sack Mourinho, logically, anybody who knows what United's all about would go and get one of the three attacking managers that are available. But our ownership have gone Moyes, Van Gaal, Mourinho. They'll go and get some other boring twat. That's what they'll do. How am I supposed to check that, Owen? Why couldn't you just write it in the live comments? Living in the land of the foreign people. La 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 la. Yeah, music's shite, it keeps me up all night, up all night. There's no need for you to say you're sorry. Goodbye, I'm going home. I don't care for you, so don't you worry. Goodbye, I'm going home. Kick the ball, Harry. I'm just waiting for the start. There we go. Second half's up and running. Laurie Nicholas says, talk about Robbie Williams. What do you want me to say? Yeah, we'll have to do a Christmas party again, Beck. I enjoyed it last year. And it will be nice to... I'm trying to think of the song. Oh, if Tyler was here, he'd let us know. Or a week or two. I don't know the name of the song. I don't know the song. I don't know it. It's definitely Oasis. The game is behind closed doors because Croatia's fans are banned for 2 games. What do you think about Tupac, says Gideon Casali? There was a very good programme on Netflix that I watched. It was about the murders of Tupac and Biggie. And I'm not really into that sort of music. But the programme was very, very good. And I just think they were a victim of gangland shootings, obviously, and rivalry, which is ridiculous and deprived the world of 2 very, very, very talented pop singers. I'm joking saying pop. They weren't pop. England are on the attack here. Carl Walker, too many touches, prick. Should have let us bring our fans. We did nothing wrong, says Beck Howell. I think there are some England fans there. Kieran McCavish says, "Go on the True Geordie podcast." I've got to be, mate. I'll go on it. I've got to be invited. Rashford's just shot from about 50 yards out. Pineapple and Pizza, Reese. It's a thumbs up from me. Chuck me questions like that where I can do thumb up or thumb down. It's a whole new segment for the second half. I'm thinking of segments for the second half because this game is shit. So if you've got any good ideas. B Leave says, "I'm going to be a daddy to a beautiful baby girl." High five. High five. It'll make all the best men have girls. I had 2. And then I've got Seb now. So I've got a boy now as well. But no. Congratulations to you, mate. It's only my opinion, but I think that's what we're here for. Because if you think about it, even if you're Einstein or, I don't know, Chris Martin from Coldplay, in 100 years' time, people aren't really going to give a shit about you. Einstein, they will, probably a little bit, but to be honest with you, I don't give a shit about Einstein. I ain't got a problem. I don't really understand what he did. And Coldplay, well, there'll be somebody else. There'll be Hot Dance in 100 years' time. So what's more important, being somebody who invents something or having kids, and they recreate and recreate, and I think that's what it's all about. And if you can't have kids, I think, there's lots of things they can do now. But I just think, without being too profound, that the best person in my life, and the reason I support Manchester United, was my granddad, and he's been dead for nearly a decade now. Shot, saved, but I constantly talk about him to my kids who never met him. So he lives on through them, and I think that's what it's all about. I think it's not even necessarily about having your own kids, is it? It's about living on, doing things that make you live on after your time's been here. And I'm not sure that Coldplay will. There you go. Einstein split the atom nuclear bomb, founder, says the magician. Yes. A shit then. Basically enabled the end of the world, because that's what will happen. Some twat will get involved in it. Johnny D. See, there's always someone who's going to jump on something that I didn't actually say. This is the problem with society today. They listen to a sentence and they go for you on the little thing. So Johnny D said, so if you can't have kids, your life's worthless. What did I actually say? I didn't say that. I said some people can't have kids, and it's not necessarily about that either. It's about what your legacy is. You can adopt. There's scientific things you can do. So stop trying to send me down a cul-de-sac. Goldbridge is not a cul-de-sac. There's always... We're not a one-way... we can be a one-way system, but I'm not a cul-de-sac. There's no dead end. There's always a path out. Einstein basically is the reason the Nazis didn't win the war, says Charles Manson. Whoa, we're getting deep. England nearly scored. Stop dissing Einstein, says Sebastian. Boosh tits. Snow Portal. Snow Patrol. I don't know why does Tommy Robinson keep coming up on my live comments? I'm not going to talk about him. What's your favourite battle, says Jamie. Actually, you know what, that could be a real ridiculous comment, but I have got a favourite battle. My favourite battle is the Battle of Hastings, 1066. That's my favourite battle. I even wrote a script about it, a comedy script about the Battle of Hastings. I don't know whether I've still got it, but it was a half an hour comedy script of this guy who goes, basically the whole premise of the script would be that he is like one of these history experts, but he's quite funny. That's a penalty! That was a blatant penalty there. Show it back, ref. He's bottled it, the ref, there. And then he's booked John Stones for a dodgy foul, and Stones will miss the Spain match. That was a penalty, that was. Helm's Deep was a good battle. Electric Mars. I'm going to give you a thumbs up. Well, that's a penalty. That's a penalty. There's no reason for him to go down. Not bad. I think, if anyone watches the British Bake Off, on the British Bake Off, Paul Hollywood gives a handshake. So I'm going to do a thumbs up. I'm not going to do it for everybody, but if you get a thumbs up, it's like a big yes. You're on it. Warren Wheatcroft says the ref must be intimidated by the home support. You know, Warren, I'm going to have to tweet that because it's good. Let's see if it bangs. I don't think people on Twitter are that clever. I've done it in a way that people will go, there isn't any home support. Croatia on the attack. There's a stream and a river and a cold in the ground. Banana. Will Potter, what's your favourite category? Probably 2-on-1 or amateur. Here we go. You prick! Rashford there was like me on Ultimate Team. Laid it on a bloody plate and 1-on-1 misses. That is Rashford on a bloody sandwich. Rubbish. Absolutely crap miss. The cross is brilliant. He's 1-on-1 from the cross on the penalty spot. And that is absolute banter from Rashford. That should have been 1-0 England. Simple as that. How did he miss that? Because that's Marcus Rashford's problem. Like, he can score a worldie from 30 yards. He can do an individual bit of brilliance, and he is a very, very good player. But his final ball is consistently crap. Whether it's crossing, shooting, passing. Rashford's problem is his consistency on the final ball. He needs a loan. He needs to go on loan for, like, a season to Bournemouth and like play every week and, you know, play these inconsistencies out of his game. Mourinho loves it because he knows Rashford's going to try really hard and he'll come on for 20 minutes and try really hard, but he hasn't got the consistency. Like that ball, that switch out wide to Sterling was brilliant, but he hasn't got any consistency. It's a shit miss. He's done it again. He's just missed 1-on-1 again. Does it fucking again. What is he on? He's done it again. 1-on-1 again. Absolute ridiculous. Ridiculous. You can't. A player of that quality cannot do that time and time again. Ridiculous. I thought he was going to sit me down. I thought he was going to score and then it'd be like, makes me look an idiot for it. But, you know, if that's Aubameyang, Aguero, they've got 2 goals. Bosworth is only up the road from me, mate. My mate's just messaged me to play FIFA tonight. Telling me what he's It's not a goal, Mark Williams. It's definitely not a goal. Oh, let's have a look at that tweet I put out and see if anybody has bitten. I always love this sort of thing. Somebody will have bitten. Stonewall penalty for England. Ref clearly bottled it because of the home support. Let's get back. Let's have a look. There's no home support. You idiot. Yeah, I've got banter. I'm absolutely winding you up. Bing, bang, boom. Let's read some of the comments. Rashford misses 2 sitters. Yeah, to be fair, you know what, Owen? You've got some followers because a few of them are calling it a nab from Owen. Yeah, but you know what? It was a nab. But we're all friends on the community. We're all part of that football community. And I speak for 2 hours and I say loads of funny shit, so you can just nick my stuff as well. But it wouldn't work if I used that line and then said thanks to Owen on the live comments of That's Football. It just takes away from the tweet. Boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room. Gonna spend the night together from now until forever. Looks like there's no support for the players, says Akram. Jim's cat's breath stinks of poo. That's because they lick their arse. Zed Jamie says, when's the Discord show? I set up Discord and I haven't got a fucking clue how it works, mate. I need to get off Skype, but I've looked around. I spent 2 hours the other day trying to set Discord up and I haven't got a bloody clue how it works. And you think I'm going to do a live show on the United Stand? Just gambling on Discord working. I don't know what we're going to do. Skype's dead because too many people call in, and Discord, I don't even know how it works. And there's no videos on how it works if you want to call in, so I just don't know. Matthew Lewis, I watched a little bit of it, but I only watched about 5 minutes because actually I lost interest quite quickly because he's just a footballer who had a bad attitude and now he's changed his ways. He's trying to get a new club at 27. That's basically it, isn't it? Ridwan's right. The UEFA Nations is a waste of time and it's pointless. I think the concept of it was quite good to try and make international football more interesting. But, like, the qualifiers, okay, they were a little bit boring, but there was that opportunity to not qualify. There was the shock element to it. I don't... Like Croatia, England and Spain, we all qualify for the Euros, don't we? I don't understand what the UEFA Nations League is all about. You used to have qualifiers for the Euros. Now we play a competitive thing with Spain and Croatia. But do we all qualify for the Euros? It just doesn't make any sense. Bradley Tucker, do I love working with other fan channels? But I don't. I don't do it, so I can't comment on it. Tyler says there are still qualifiers and they start in March. Oh, Tyler, tell me the name of the song. There's no need for you to say you're sorry. Goodbye, I'm going home. What's the name of that song by Oasis? I can't think of it. All I can think is Cast No Shadow, and it's not Cast No Shadow. I didn't play Gaelic football, Jack. Andrew Ellis, who's very anti-Mourinho, says, Ashley Young is the only player I can't slate as much as he knew my father, Mark. Andrew, you've ruined yourself there. I've always respected you because you were very consistent about Mourinho from day one. But not being able to slate Ashley Young ruins all of that. Any respect you've built with me is gone. Ashley Young's shit. Just call him shit and then you get your respect back. He's crap. Absolutely crap. He had a good couple of years with United as a right winger. He's no left winger and he's certainly not a right back or a left back. He's crap. He's a banter full back. Just say it how it is and get your respect back. There's no goal. There's no goal. I didn't watch Doctor Who, Emma. I hate it. Chris Butters, what's your dream Ultimate Team squad? Well, hopefully I'll get to it, Chris. I want Martial on the left. I don't know who I want as... I mean, we're going to start doing this on the streams anyway and start voting for players and stuff. But I do want Roy Keane in it. That's my ultimate aim. Sebastian Douglas has just made love with a grapefruit. Ragnar says, do you think some channels have an agenda and are acting like everything is fine with Jose? Mate, I don't know, because I don't watch the United Stand after I filmed it because it's live, so I have the interactive experience. It'd be silly of me to watch our content back. I know the people that are on the United Stand because I watch the fan cams and I do the shows with them, and I know what Flex thinks, I know what Rants thinks, I know what a lot of the people think. I don't watch any other United content, whether it's websites or fan channels. But if they're peddling pro Mourinho stuff, then they're doing it because they want access to the club. You know, they want access to press conferences, or they hope that they might get an interview with a player in the future. If any real fan who is putting out content at the moment, there is nothing, absolutely nothing, to suggest that Jose Mourinho is the right man for Manchester United or he'll turn this round. That's not to say that he won't. But if he does, it'd be one of the most miraculous things that's happened in football. He's lost it. It's year 3. He's lost it. I backed Jose Mourinho for so long. But we're now in that period of time where a manager's been here for long enough. 5 transfer windows, and we're not progressing. The football's shit. The players are turning against him. If he, Leicester won the Premier League a couple of years ago. Mourinho might be the first manager to turn it around when everything's going shit. There has to be a manager at some point who turns it around, but the reality is the proof and evidence is there that he won't do. So I think anybody who's peddling pro Mourinho stuff are probably doing it because they want to enamour themselves with the club, and I don't believe fan content should be about that. Fanzines, whether you're Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool or what, fanzines were always hard hitting. When I was growing up, the people selling the fanzines outside the ground, they're meant to be hard hitting. They're not meant to be verified or, signed off by the club or arse licking the club. That's the whole point. So people doing that are probably doing it for their own agenda, really. Stand by me. Good song. Nobody knows the way it's gonna be. Goal. No, he's hit it wide. Lukaku scores for Belgium. Married with children, says Awesome. Yeah, I knew it was on Definitely Maybe. Well... Did anyone see James Rodriguez's goal for Colombia, by the way? Wonderful left foot. He is a great player, James Rodriguez. I would love him at Manchester United. I've wanted him for a long time. Do you want it? Ding 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 Nip Attack says, I'm late to the game, but how's it been? Absolute shite. B. Lev says, Noel and Liam were my neighbours for years. I love them. I love Oasis. I can't help it. I know the Man City fans, but I love Oasis. Lewis Toop, a summary of the game so far. Absolute shite. Who's better, Ericsson or James? Says Wilmer. James. 100%. I'm not doing Bay for a Ramsey swap deal. That's DT talking out of his arse again. You know, DT actually does talk some good stuff. Oh, I thought they'd scored then. But, you know, he's got to make content on the international break. We all have. And Bay for Ramsey is the sort of crap that you get on the international break to try and get people watching your content. I liked Blur, Andrew Ellis. Streets like a jungle, so called the police, following the hood, back to Greece, on holiday, naff in the 90s. That was a pass to Rashford there. He could have played that through. I can't do De Niro. I've never done a De Niro impression. Sharon says, apparently Spurs are looking at singing Bay in January. Do it now. Bay, oh Bay, let's all sing Bay. He means signing. Stone Roses are very good. I like the Stone Roses. Get some Depeche Mode on, says Verham. All I ever wanted, all I ever needed was here in my... I love Depeche Mode. I like some games. I'll play DT at FIFA and I'll kick his ass. But I'll tell you what DT will do. What a ball. No, it's not worked. I'll tell you what DT will do. He'll take 2 months playing it every day for 10 hours to get good at it, and then he'll play me. I like Back for Good. Hader, yeah. In the twist of separation, you excelled at being free. I like Take That. I'm not scared. I'm not scared to say that I like something that's not cool. I'll never sing You'll Never Walk Alone. I'll tell you what, I would only sing You'll Never Walk Alone if someone paid me a large amount of money to give it to charity. But that's the only way I'd do it. I would never sing it. Simply Red. Love the shirt, says Ox for Gaming. Thank you. Thanks for the contribution. DT was a pro FIFA player who won competitions. Yeah, like he was a pro footballer, like he was a pro politician, like he wiped the arse of fucking Aubameyang for a job. You know, it's all nonsense. Drugs don't work, says Jason. They don't. The only drugs I've ever done was paracetamol and a bit of penicillin when I had a bit of a rash. It is the greatest song to be sung. Look, I ain't got nothing against Liverpool fans who love You'll Never Walk Alone, but I won't do it. I went to an awards ceremony at Old Trafford for the Football Blogging Awards, and it was run by Liverpool people that I didn't really know at the time. And on the interlude, they played You'll Never Walk Alone at Old Trafford, and I walked out. I did a video. Are you going to go my way? Goatbergs, there's a bit of Lenny Kravitz. Warren Wheatcroft, living on a prayer. I'm on the toilet, says that guy. I hope there's no complications. Phil Mitchell says do Michael Caine. It's becoming a bit of a cliche now. And I'm not that good at it. I will not watch you die, Batman. He lives in a house, a very big house in the country. He's got a fog on his chest because he needs a lot of rest in the country. The 90s were a great time to be alive. Unless you were dead. But no, they were. The 90s were brilliant. They were absolutely brilliant. I'd love there to be another time like the 90s where the football was great and everybody... offside Harry Kane. Anything was possible. Music shit now. Blame Simon Cowell. The 90s was just... You never thought it was going to end. You had all these bands. I was going to start a band. You had Harry Kane was on side as well. Bollocks linesman. You had all these bands coming through. Like independent bands and like all these gigs. And it was like, this is never going to end. And then fucking X Factor got invented. And we ended up with bloody Ollie Murs. And I know he's a United fan, but he's still a banter artist who basically has an half-decent voice and people writing songs for him. That's not music. That's not music. I love the Stone Roses, Nathan. I love the Stone Roses. I will be playing FIFA, big man, but I'm not live streaming. I'm just going to play a bit of FIFA. I like the Lighthouse Family Black. We could be lifted, lifted. When that day arrives, we'll live on Ocean Drive. Don't know why. I can't do him. He's got a very good voice. What happened to them? What happened to the Lighthouse? Oh, some prat is now fixing the net, dragging this game out. Stop fixing the net. No one gives a shit. The ball's not going to go in it. Stop tying it up and grabbing your 7 seconds of fame and get the game on. Why is Southgate not made any bloody substitutions as well? What's the point in calling up all these kids and picking the same old boring shit? We should have done a United stand show, Hemorrhage. You're right. C.O. Tully says Mark Ollie Murs is a dosser. A dosser and a dwat. Dwad. Majestic Huku, Martial or Hazard? Martial. Lighthouse family got stranded at sea, says St. Columbo. Here is Jadon Sancho, he's coming on. I haven't seen a lot of him because he was a City player, wasn't he? I heard his interview and he needs to sharpen up on that, but he's only a kid. Saturday night dance, I like the way you move. Be my baby. Oh, I've told this story before. Wigfield, Saturday night. 17-year-old. No, I wasn't 17. 16 years of age. Got into a nightclub when I shouldn't have been there. And looking over the balcony, down at the dance floor, Wigfield comes on. And a sea of girls. I mean, probably, realistically, there's not a sea. There's probably about 100. All doing the dance to Wigfield. If you've not seen the Wigfield dance, put it onto YouTube. It's this, you're a 16-year-old lad. You're in a nightclub that you shouldn't be in anyway. God knows how I got in it. I think my brother-in-law got me in. And I'm stood there over the balcony, a bottle of Bud, watching Wigfield and all these girls dancing. And there's a funny dance to it. And, that's what dreams are made of. That was coming of age. That was. American Pie films, James Burns. I did enjoy them. They were sort of my time. He was only 16 years old, says Sally Deborah. I was only 16 years old. I shouldn't have to watch Wigfield being danced by 18-year-olds. I was only 16 years old. What if one of them had pulled me, I can't watch another Batman die, Mr. Bruce. I will not bury another Batman. I will not bury... It was only... No, finish. Get off it. Favourite United bench player of all time, Crossfade? It's got to be, without a question of a doubt, Beppe. No, Solskjaer. Sancho time, he is on. Let's see if he can do anything. Ben Chilwell went to my school, says Adebayo. I think he's good. I think he's quite good. Peaky Blinders is good, Ragnar. Favourite Only Fools and Horses episode, says Nabs. I like Mother Nature's Son. I like Fatal Attraction. These are feature-length Christmas ones. The winner is where Rodney wins the under 14s prize is very good as well. Yuppie Love's good. Do you think we will sign Bailly? Spurs fan. No. It'd be a bloody disaster. Well, if Mourinho stays, you've got a chance. If we sack him, you've got no chance. Smiths. There is a light and it never goes out. Oh, there is a light and it never goes out. There is a light. And if a double-decker bus crashes into us, to die by... I've lost it. I haven't seen Venom, Aaron. I like rugby, Matthew, but I tend to be a bit of a Six Nation. I like Pulp, Tyler. I liked Pulp back in the day. Disco 2000. You'll Never Live Like Common People is a classic of our time. The social connotations of it, as well as being a very good song. Common People is absolutely brilliant. And as somebody who sort of comes from the working classes, it's a cracking song, Pulp, Common People. And they've been around for years before they had fame. I quite liked Ease and Whiz, although I actually, hands up, would say I've never done any drugs. I have got friends who've done them, but I've never popped pills or anything like that. I think the best of me, and I know it's pro-alcohol, but the best of me is probably 3 pints. 3 pints, you get the best of me, creatively and gobbiness. But no, I've never been into anything like that. Yeah, I know somebody mentioned the Verve. It might have been Tyler. Drugs Don't Work's okay, but I think it's a little bit like Wonderwall for Oasis. Little bit commercial. My favourite Verve song is Sonnet. Unorthodox. I like Sonnet by the Verve. Drugs Don't Work would be a brilliant song if it wasn't for everybody. If it wasn't such a... If you said to, some knobhead on the street, what do you think of the Verve? What's your favourite song? They'd say Drugs Don't Work, and I'd be like, shut up. You don't know anything about. Who's the lead singer? Oh, Chris Martin. Yes, shut up. You're a bloody idiot. But they'd still know Drugs Don't Work, and that I'm sort of a bit of a music snob like that. I'm like, no, you're not claiming the Drugs Don't Work, and that's why I don't like the Verve's Drugs Don't Work much. It's a cracking song, but because it's so mainstream, I'm like, no, I'm going to pick something that nobody really knows much about. Sonnet. Oasis, Wonderwall, not interested, not going to talk about it. Don't look back in anger, don't look at my face. You're not having Oasis as your favourite. That's not going to be the best song because you're too commercial. So it's a bit like that Snow Patrol song, light up, as if you have a chance. That's quite mainstream, but the Cars one's the worst. I can't even bring myself to sing it. The Snow Patrol could have been a decent band, but they went too mainstream. That's why I don't like them. I prefer Keane. I love We Were Blinded by the Night. Keane are very good. I loved Keane. Gavin Jameson says drugs worked for Ben Johnson. He got the gold. Well, he didn't actually, Ben. He got it taken off him. 82 minutes. We're nearly at the end. Ben Chilwell, good. I think he's been good. I hate Mrs. Brown's Boys, Jack. Radiohead, Alicia. You know what? I never thought Radiohead would be my cup of tea. But OK Computer is the complete album. You can listen to it absolutely from start to end. That's a good album. Apart from Fitter, Happier, More Productive. That's shit. But take that out and it's an absolutely superb album. Track 5, I can't remember what it's called, is amazing. I haven't listened to it in ages. I can't remember what it is called. I don't want to... I'm live, so I don't want to spend the minute I need to get it into my brain, but I think it's Let Down. Let down and have... you know where you are now. You know where you are. Track 5, OK Computer, Radiohead. It will blow your mind. It's such an uplifting song when it gets going. It's brilliant. Stick with Peep Show, Grizzles. Oh, I will do. I'm really enjoying it. Firestarter was good, Gavin, yeah. Take me home, country road, to the place where I belong, West Virginia. Yeah, I've heard it a million times. Ireland's a funny place to be at last orders, let me just say that. You know, Fairy Tale of New York. If you think it's a Christmas song, go and live in Ireland, because they'll keep playing it all the way through May, June, July at the end of the night. It's there all the time. Sweet Caroline, every night, yeah. End of the night, if you're in an Irish pub, Sweet Caroline, Fairy Tale of New York, and Country Road, guaranteed. It's brilliant. Best 3 years of my adult life was living in Ireland. It was amazing. He's a good player, that Ben Chilwell. Barbie Girl by Aqua. I already feel with Peep Show, Aaron, that, you know, there's 9 seasons of it. I think I'm on season 5, and I'm like, I really liked the first 2 seasons where he was chasing the girl, and now there's been a marriage and a baby, and I'm like, yeah, it's drifting. How good was Steve Nichols? Says Tabish. Shite. Everybody's changing. Walrus Productions. Keen are very good. I should get some music on. When was I last in Ireland? Says Mad Marcus. Oh, the last time I was on Ireland, Marcus, so I tell you, it was me and Rob Roy. We were out over there fighting Oliver Cromwell. No, seriously, the last time I was in Ireland, fucking hell. I think the last time I went to Ireland was with the family, actually. Yeah. I need to go back. I was meant to go back this year. I need to go back to Ireland. The trouble is, if I'm totally honest with you, my youngest Seb, like, we can't get babysitters for him, so you can't just piss off for a couple of days. My other kids are like secondary school and coming up for secondary school, but a little baby, people don't really want to have him for a couple of days, and you can't go to Ireland and do what you need to do with a little baby. So it's I love it at Christmas. I love Ireland at any time. Dublin anyway, that's what I'm all about. I think we've probably got a few nice little clips from tonight. Cork's where it's at, says Aaron. I've never been. What's the story? That's what Dublin. It's a bit like Liverpool. I sort of blocked it out when I lived there. Best fullback I've ever seen, Stoke City, Mr. Dennis Irwin. Sit down, anybody else. Gary Neville, Patrice Evra, any fullback. Dennis Irwin is the best fullback I've seen in my lifetime. Can play right back or left back with ease, score free kicks, brilliant defender, great going forward. No equal. I mean, people will say Maldini, and Maldini was good, but we didn't see Maldini week in, week out. He was a myth. A very good player, but to English people, Maldini's a myth. You know, modern day football now, if you choose to, you can watch a lot of the foreign football, but Maldini was sort of part of that myth time. You know, you got to see bits here and there, but not week in, week out. So Dennis Irwin for me, 100%. I mean, like Zed Jamie said, Roberto Carlos, again, myth. How did you watch Roberto Carlos every week in, week out? You don't. You know, everyone thinks Roberto Carlos was good at free kicks. He scored 1 against Bartes in it wasn't even a World Cup or a Euros. Well, obviously it wasn't a Euros because he was Brazilian. It was some bloody Intertoto bloody International Cup. I think it was the Umbro Cup or something shit like that. So here is Sancho. Let's have a look what he's all about. He looks all right on the right hand side. Can Leon Bailey play for England, or was that a myth? We don't necessarily need him. I mean, I think Sancho could be better. He's done it. Jadon Sancho's done a brilliant thing going to Dortmund, you know, to get game time. Absolutely brilliant. Ashley Cole? No. No, Kang Ozzy. I'm not saying Maldini's a myth. I'm saying anybody who says Maldini's the best left back they've seen, the best fullback they've seen in their life, is a myth. Unless you're Italian, living in the Milan region, you didn't watch Milan week in, week out. I can't say Maldini's better than Irwin because I watched Irwin virtually every week. The question was, who's the best fullback you've seen in your lifetime? Dennis Irwin. Watched lots of him. The most consistent, brilliant fullback I've seen. Obviously Maldini. Oh, why did we not score there? Sancho looks amazing. Great cross. It's not a bad point for England, this. Jack Macklin says, honestly, Gerrard or Scholes. Scholes. And that is honest. Phil Neal was way too old for me. Andy McGinnigal says, Sky had Italian football for years, you clown. No, they didn't. They didn't have Milan on every week, you prick. I can use names as well. You're not listening to what I'm saying, are you? Did you watch Maldini week in, week out for years? No. What was the question? Mark, what's the best fullback you've seen? Not you. What's the best fullback I've seen in my lifetime? Dennis Irwin. And I backed it up with, I saw him week in, week out. He's the most consistent fullback, left back and right back. What are you coming back at me about Maldini? I didn't watch Maldini week in, week out. And I guarantee you didn't either. So I'm saying it's mythical for me to say Maldini's the best fullback I've ever seen. Because I probably only saw him about 30 times in his whole career. Whereas Dennis Irwin, I probably watched him over 100 times. There. Sit down and stop your bullshit FIFA crap. Who is the best all-round striker I've seen? David Rees. Alan Shearer. Yeah, Alan Shearer. Maldini's from the 80s, says Young King. Andy McGinnigal never should have got a reply because he's saying that I said Maldini's a myth. He's a thick prick on a Friday night with fucking cotton wool in his ears. I can't stand people who don't fucking listen. I did not say Maldini's a myth. I said it's a myth for me to say that Maldini's the best fullback because I haven't watched him week in, week out. You know what? I shouldn't. I know people in the live comments will be saying, don't listen to the trolls, Mark. Well, Andy McGinnigal, you're a fucking troll under a bridge and no one's listening to you now. Joa, do you like the Beatles? You know what? I like the Beatles, but I've never really clinged onto a Beatles song like I have a Stone Roses song, like I have an Oasis song, like I have a Keane song, like I have the Kinks song. I love Waterloo Sunset by the Kinks. I think it's I love Waterloo Sunset by the Kinks better than any Beatles song. But the Beatles have got such a back catalogue, it's massive. And obviously they're a brilliant band, but there's no Beatles. There's a load of Beatles songs that I would say are 7, 8 out of 10. But there's no Beatles song to me, Andy McGinnigal, before you start going, Let It Be's a 10 out of 10. The questions to me, loads of Beatles songs are 7 and 8 out of 10, but there's no 10 out of 10 for me. Whereas, like I say, Waterloo Sunset by the Kinks, I think is a 9. So, yeah. I do like the Beatles, but there's no song that really stands out for me, if that makes sense. See, Tyler says a day in the life is a masterpiece. Oh, no, look, Tyler, what I'm saying is quite controversial. A lot of people will say, what you want about? What about this? What about that? What about that? But I can only be honest. I'm not saying they're a bad band. You know, the Beatles are very, very good, but there's no one song that stands out. I mean, I really do like Let It Be. And I like Something, but they're not any better than an 8 out of 10. Douglas James Horn says, great decision by Sky to broadcast a 0-0 game between Croatia and England when they are playing in an empty stadium. What an awful game of football. Well, someone's got to show it, haven't they, Douglas? But it's been shite. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right-hand corner, and drop a like. And if you haven't seen my Ultimate Team video, that is up from this afternoon. This game is drawing to an end. Please do a FIFA video tonight, says STJ3D. No. Mark hates the Beatles, says Toby the Greatest. You know. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Favourite song by Led Zeppelin? Do you like them? Says you gamer. Again, Led Zeppelin, no, they're not massive for me. They're not massive for me. I'd probably say Stairway for Heaven, but that's just so obvious. So they're not something that... my music is quite varied. I mean, I love Thunderstruck by AC/DC. I think it's brilliant, but a lot of AC/DC fans would say that's really commercial. It's not really hardcore, so you've got to be careful about your music. Has anyone picked up an injury, says Jesse James? No. Do you like any of the later Oasis albums, says Tyler? They drift, don't they? They do drift. I mean, I'd say, you know, avidly into definitely maybe What's the Story, Morning Glory. I actually quite liked Be Here Now. But after Standing on the Shoulders of Giants, I started to drift. You know, I think about songs like Gas Panic or, you know, it just drifts. They're not bad songs, but they drift. And I like Stop Crying Your Heart Out. I think it's a very good song. But you think about Oasis B-sides like The Master Plan. That album, The Master Plan, which is B-sides, is better than every other album they did after Be Here Now. So they drifted. You know, whether it's the drugs, the money, the fame, the hunger, they drifted. And they were a great band, but they did drift. Andy MT says, favourite Harry Potter film, Mark? Oh, I do. You know, easy answer to question. Easy answer that. Prisoner. I really like Prisoner of Azkaban. I like that one. Anyway, I do quite like The Killers, Cameron. Thanks everyone for watching. Remember to subscribe if you're new. Drop a like on video, and we will be back at some point. I've got a busy weekend, so I don't know when I'm going to be doing FIFA streams. So just keep your eye out on my Twitter at Mark Goldbridge. I always tweet when I'm going to do it. There will be stuff over the weekend. Definitely on the United stand, we'll have something going up tomorrow morning, and definitely Sunday Night Live. So get involved, and I'll put something up on here as well. Speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon. Thanks everyone for joining in. You made a shit game good. You can't do any more.